I have examined my desk and seen that nothing good can be done on it. It is midnight. The burning electric light, the silent house, the darkness outside, they give me the right to write, even if it be only the most miserable stuff. And this right I use hurriedly. That's the person I am. I feel restless and vicious. I have now a great yearning to write all my anxiety entirely out of me. I stare rigidly ahead, lest my eyes lose the imaginary peepholes of the imaginary kaleidoscope into which I am looking. I invite heaven and earth to take part in my scheme. And what is my scheme? To observe myself. This inescapable duty to observe oneself. But most of these observations are no more than lies. We often ask, who has been telling lies about us? Who could have said such things? Someone must have been telling lies about Joseph K. For without having done anything wrong, he was arrested one fine morning. His landlady's cook, who always brought him his breakfast at 8 o'clock, failed to appear on this occasion. That had never happened before.
Who are you?
Did you ring?
Anna's to bring me my breakfast.
He says Anna is to bring him his breakfast. I think you'd better stay here.
What are you doing here? Where's Anna? Where's my breakfast? I'm going to see Frau Grubeck, see what she has to say about this.
No. You can't go out. You are under arrest.
But what for?
We're not authorised to tell you. Proceedings have been instituted against you. You'll be informed of everything in due course. I'm exceeding my instructions in speaking freely to you like this. But if you continue to have as good luck as you've had in the choice of your warders, then you can be confident of the final result.
You'll soon discover that we're telling you the truth.
Why didn't she come in?
She isn't allowed to.
Since you're under arrest.
So how can I be under arrest? And particularly in such a ridiculous fashion.
I told you, we don't answer such questions.
Yes? Well, you'll have to answer them. Here are my papers. Now show me yours. Where's your warrant for arresting me?
What are your papers to us? You're behaving worse than a child. Do you think you'll bring this fine case of yours to a speedier end by wrangling with us, your warders, over papers and warrants?
We are humble subordinates who have nothing to do with your case except to stand guard over you for 10 hours a day and draw our pay for it. That's all we are. But we're quite capable of grasping the fact that the high authorities we serve, before they order such an arrest as this, must be quite well informed about the reasons for the arrest and the person and the prisoner. There can be no mistake about that.
See, our officials are drawn towards the guilty and send out us warders. That is the law. How could there be a mistake in that?
I don't know this law.
All the worse for you.
Probably exists only in your own head.
Well, you come up against it yet? See, Willem, he admits he doesn't know the law, and yet he claims he's innocent.
You're quite right, but you never make a man like that see reason.
The inspector wants you.
Joseph K. You are presumably very surprised at the events of this morning.
Certainly I am surprised, but not very surprised.
Not very surprised?
I mean that when one has lived in the world for 30 years and had to fight one's way through it, as I have had to do, one becomes hardened to its surprises. doesn't take them too seriously. Particularly this one.
Why particularly this one?
Well, I won't say I regard the whole thing as a joke. For the preparations that have been made seem too elaborate for that.
Quite right.
But on the other hand, it can't be a matter of great importance either. I can't think of one offence which could be charged against me. But even this is of minor importance. No, the real question here is, who accuses me? Are you officers of the law? None of you wears a uniform, unless your suit is to be regarded as a uniform, but it's more like a tourist's outfit. I demand a clear answer to these questions, and I feel certain that after an explanation, we shall be able to part from each other on the best of terms.
How simple it all seems to you. You want to settle the matter amicably, do you? No, that really can't be done. On the other hand, I don't mean to suggest that you should give up hope. Why should you? You are only under arrest, nothing more. I was requested to inform you of this. I've done so. And I have also observed your reactions. That's enough for today, and we can say goodbye. Though only for the time being, naturally. You'll be wanting to go to work now, I suppose.
To work? But I'm under arrest. How can I go to work if I'm under arrest?
Ah, I see. You have misunderstood me. You are under arrest, certainly, but that need not hinder you from going about your business. You won't be hampered in carrying on in the ordinary course of your life.
Then being arrested is not such a bad thing.
I never suggested it was.
Then there would seem no particular necessity to tell me about it.
It was my duty.
When Franz Kafka died at the age of 41, his work was known only to a tiny handful of readers in his native city of Prague. He lived there, reluctantly, for most of his short life. Prague does not let go, either of you or of me. The little mother has claws, he wrote. There is nothing for it but to give in. Few of his novels or stories ever satisfied him, and he even, famously, requested that on his death, all his work should be destroyed. Although Kafka rarely mentions it specifically, the landscape of Prague underlies everything he wrote. The city is dominated by a huge castle, which, as in Kafka's novel of that name, rises above a warren of labyrinthine streets. To him, Prague was an alien place, yet its world of alleys and corridors is one he made resonant of our whole century. In the years before the First World War, it was a dynamic yet provincial city. Prague at that time contained one of the largest Jewish populations in Central Europe, and it was into this community, with its rich traditions, that Kafka was born. Czechoslovakia was part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and consequently, German was the official and dominant language. Kafka's family were German-speaking Jews, successful businessmen, who lived in what is known as the Old Town, the age-old Jewish quarter of the city. Yet Kafka grew up with little sense of rootedness. He felt alienated, firstly as a Jew at a time of rising anti-Semitism, and secondly as a German speaker in a predominantly Czech nation.